So, sorry it took too long, but it's just an earthquake hit Mexico City. I had family there, had to check. Oh boy, let's talk about Warzone. Well, before we talk about Warzone, I hope everybody in Mexico City is fine. Uh, those affected, my condolences. Um, let's go back to Warzone 2.0 because holy hell is causing a lot of stirring up and to a lot of people, including myself. Where do we start with this? Look, let's start with the good things about Warzone 2.0. It's good looking. I mean, you have points of interest in all maps inserted in the correct way, not forced. Like in Blackout, it's more so natural to its ecosystem. Uh, for the way that it looks like we're gonna have so much fun. The swim mechanic, it's going to be interesting. How is it going to develop? But yeah, overall the map looks good. It looks very balanced for combat and all that. Uh, so in that context, it's pretty much nice. Um, the vehicles. Let's talk about the vehicles. The good thing about it, it seems that they added a few more vehicles for you to navigate. They also added the new mechanic of leaning out or hop, like going to the roof. That's actually pretty cool. I'm expecting that that's going to be something that's going to be very interesting also on your choosing on what vehicle you choose and everything. Plus, now you have fuels and gas stations, so your vehicle has a fuel meter, and that fuel meter is going to decrease the more time you use it. I'm not sure in the matter of health or more so in the matter of explosion, because if a vehicle has no fuel, it doesn't explode the same in a sense of way if you damage it completely. If it has fuel, well, obviously it's going to create a shockwave and an explosion. Not a Hollywood explosion, but you know what I mean. Um, so in that sense, it's like, all right. So I'm gonna be very. It's gonna be very interesting. Not so much so on the explosion thing, but more so on the type of vehicle. For example, the cars. What little I saw, cars use more. Uh, like their fuel wasn't depleting as faster as if it was like an SUV or a truck. I'm guessing it's because of the mass. They added that, so you gotta choose which vehicle. If you're gonna choose a car, obviously it's not gonna have a lot of protection, but at least it's costs of fuel is not gonna be that much. As for a truck, I don't know. It's just my sense of perspective, strategies and everything. Now, oh man. Now let's get to the. I'm not sure how to call it. I'm not sure if calling it a bad one or questionable. Okay, let's just start it with how it is. All the good stuff that I mentioned, pretty good. Now we're going to the territory that I think it's more so questionable than bad because I mean they can change it. It's the fact that we saw that the loading system has changed. What do I mean by this? You open a box, but instead of things popping out of the box, it's almost like a loading system. Like you open a box, oh, you have this item, and you just choose one of those items, and now you have a backpack where you can store it. Now, the backpack thing is a good thing. You can store stuff and everything. The only problem is, how do you know now that um, you're going like, how to put it, how is it going to be managed? Because that's one of the things that actually it questions a lot. So it's not going to be like Warzone. It's going to be more so like many COD tubers were referring to it as PUBG. I see it more so as Tarkov in a sense of way, or more so like um, Arma, because I've been seeing also a lot of Arma. Um, so yeah, and PUBG's had its story in Arma, so yeah. In that sense, it's good that you can carry a little bit more items, but in another sense, the process of how you pick it up instead of just popping it out and then you just, that's going to present itself a quirk that many people might not adjust very quick, or many people are going to flock back to Warzone 1, even though Warzone 1 right now, I'm not sure how to put it. So I mean, it's playable, but it's just meta guns that are from Vanguard are just taking over too much that like Cold War. Even though I ride with my M4 and I change my secondary primary a lot, it's still. Mm. So going back to Warzone 2, that it's one of that's going to present itself a huge problem, a huge adjustment. I would expect that they would return to the pop-up system and everything goes out. And after a certain time, if you don't grab certain items that are near the box, that are from the box, um, like the old mechanic, I understand what they're trying to do, more so battle royale experience than their type of Warzone that they have, but it's just going to be complicating a lot of stuff. One benefit that I saw that they have is that now you have loot everywhere. Instead of just on the ground, it's more so on the shelf, on the counter, on tables, on bookshelves. Certain parts where you can just grab and pick and choose. What I saw that was good about it is that they have the little icon. What I have problem with it is there's, well, I understand it's just like an alpha or a beta. I don't know what type of build they had. I saw a lot of streamers that they encounter places where it was full of it, and then there was places that they had none of it, and there were places that were not looted. It was more so like empty. Like you arrive to an empty space and it has nothing, even if it wasn't looted. And you were like, well, those that spaces don't work like that. You have to be in a sense of way equal, or at least have, if you're gonna have an empty space, don't have it like empty, have it a few things, and then just, but yeah, that's what I saw on the Warzone 2 is like, it's, there's places that have a lot, there's places that have none. And let's talk about strongholds in that regard. Those places that they visit that they had a lot, the strongholds do have a lot, but there's also a lot of places that are not strongholds that have a lot of loot, because it's the where they were, in a convenience store, or I think it was like a mini bank, or I'm not sure. Uh, it had it had its it had a lot of loot, but there were also a lot of spaces that you said, "Hey, here over here, they must have a lot of loot, and they have nothing." You understand it, the stronghold part. Like, here's my concern about it is that the only way to actually get stuff, like level up stuff and everything, like your epic, your legendary, or sometimes a rare weapon, it's on the strongholds. But because of the type of weapons that you find and the loot boxes don't have a suppressor, obviously, one, you're gonna waste ammo. Two, you're gonna reveal your position that you're in a stronghold. And three, I understand that the AI acts a little bit more human in a sense of way in protecting the stronghold itself. But the thing is, you don't seem to distinguish sometimes in the minimap who is a player and who's an AI. And I think you need to separate that. If you recall in Fortune's Keep, when the AI drops and everything, when you when you don't have a UAV, it pings above in their head that they're AI, and that's how you know that they're AI. And that sense of regard is like, oh, okay, they don't you don't engagement unless they see you, but even still, you hide, and then that's gonna be I don't know, something that they need to fix, because what I saw from the build, they don't have those little icons that says, "Hey, I'm an AI. This is a stronghold." It's like uh, there's no noticeable things, and I even saw it on the map when streamers put it. Is that there's no location that indicates, "Hey, here's a stronghold. Here's another one." And in Fortune's Keep, we see it that it says stronghold, or it is a stronghold in the part of the location where they're landing. So I understand they're trying to camouflage it, but on the other hand, it's like, dude, just put an icon on it. It's like, hey, you're entering a designated area of a stronghold. You just put it on the map, and oh, here's one, here's another one, and the ones that are taken are there, or they have been cleaned up. Those icons disappear. I don't know, just help in the sense of reference. Another questionable thing is the armor plate system. Now you spawn with, well, we saw them spawning with two plates. We don't know if it's going to be like that. You spawn with two plates, but you can only have two on you. You cannot put in a third when you grab one. Understandable, trying realism until you grab another vest and you can hold a third one plus another three. There's no, like right now, that you can hold five on your own, put three on you. If you want more, you need a vest, and you can hold now eight. I understand in the sense of way that change, but still, it's going to provide a lot of you know difficulties of adjusting, more so than gameplay wise. So that's another thing. Going to weapons. Here's a topic that I'm going to fuse: weapons and the store, because now you purchase weapons. There was no loadout on the menu. I'm not sure if it is because of the build, or is it because uh, in the event nobody's going to have everything unlocked. They don't want to create their own classes on it, because in the sense of way, one, you're learning, and two, I think they're still figuring out how to include this new perk system on this new Warzone. If it's going to be a perk system, if not, then I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be, or if you're going to have just your two base perks. I don't know how it's going to be. We're not shown everything. It's just a build. But what I saw, no perk system, no loadouts. Maybe because of the build. But one thing that I think that if it maintains itself in the game is that you buy weapons and you upgrade your weapons. On my perspective, I don't like that. Why? Because that more so reflects Spec Ops store as opposed to what it has to be in Warzone. If you're trying to be like a battle royale, you don't purchase attachments. And even if you find them like in Blackout, still you want your own weaponry. So what's the point of me leveling up all these weapons in multiplayer? And even though it's a different application, but because it's my name, it's going to transfer to Warzone 2, and I have my weapon set up and I cannot use it, what's the point? There's no point on it. So I just stay playing multiplayer, and Warzone, it's more so if I just want to try and be something different. That's another thing. Oh, it's starting to line up. Now I'm holy. I think we're good. Kinda. Not so much. All right. Anyways, it's just cloudy, but I think the sun just came out. Anyways, so going back to it, that's one of the things that I don't understand. And if they're going to keep on that system, I suggest they take it out, because what's the point of loading up weapons, creating your own loadouts, if you're not going to be able to use them in Warzone or call it in? Um, I understand that they're trying to figure out how the perk system will work, but still, it's not. And the store, even though you have some of the items that you have there, the prices that we saw, even if it's just a build, is like, I'm in agreement with most of them. There was not enough cash for them to buy a lot of stuff that was there in the store. Number one, number two, if you're gonna purchase weapons that have the attachments almost like the black market, may I remember you? Not everybody goes to the black market. Just top players that are in a crouch that couldn't get their loadouts, they go to the black market and they just test the weapons, and that's it. In order for them to finish, uh, and that brings me to another point: how you grab stuff from death players. It's a mess. It's all piled up like it is in Warzone right now. It's like you kill someone, and even if it scatters, but if it falls, I have an item here, and then I kill someone, and the item is over here, or I just open, or it's like they're sharing the same space, and I cannot see, and I cannot grab automatic because I never saw anyone. For example, I saw Espresso run into AR ammo, and he couldn't pick it up. When you pass by, he had to press it in order for him to actually refill his ammo. And you're like, why? Why not have automatic pickup? I have to literally just hold it or press it in order for me to actually grab the stuff. It's like, no. Um, so yeah, and in that sense, it's like, please. Um, Another thing that I saw about it is that, for as much as they indicate the color on the tab, but at least when you have it in Warzone 1, you see the color of the line, you see the color of the item. If it is money and it's the amount, oh well, it's going like purple or blue or something like that. And over here that we saw in the build, everything glows white. So we need a distinction, and also the items need space. Oh man, outside of the questionable things, I mean, things that you can fix. I'm not calling it bad things because I understand mostly what they're trying to do. They're trying to. Many would say that they are trying to reinvent the wheel when it doesn't need to. I understand that part, but also they need to step up the game in order for it to actually feel more immersed in a sense of way. Another mechanic that, in a sense of way, is questionable, but more so isn't towards. I'm leaning it more so towards good than bad. Is that when you parachute in, you cannot use your weapons, and even though it's questionable, but in another regard, I see it as a good thing, because then nobody can take you out on the air, and that's always frustrating in Warzone right now. So I'm glad that in Warzone 2, if they keep that mechanic, it's good. What I would like more so is that, um, how to put it, just to let us know on the menu. You know, if you jump and you open your parachute, and when you, it's like, oh, you have this pistol. You know, to know which pistol. Another thing that I'm not going to add in question a little bit more so on the good side is the infill animation. It looks good, it looks pristine, but what I think made it unique and attractive into Warzone was we saw the plane, and then we got an inside view of our characters getting ready to parachute. And I think I understand that this is a new way for them, but still, I would have loved. Well, I would love if they actually add an animation. You know, oh, it's a plane launching flares, but then it zooms in, and your character has been signaled that you can jump, and he goes back, and a whole new animation. I don't know how, you know, or he's seated, and then it opens, and then you get up, and you say, "You're ready, you're ready, you're ready," or like, "Let's go," and you jump, and that's it. Um, So yeah, on that regard, if they could add up, that could add a more immersive or personal experience on the players. Here's something that I would add in questionable: the Gulag. The new Gulag is like a naked gunfight. You know, I like it in the sense of way that it's 2v2, and you know your frenemies with the one that you have as a tag team. And I understand that the warden spawns in, and if you kill the warden, you get the key. You're free. You know, if not, you kill the other two. Here's the thing: the warden's health, it's going to be a problem. More so because he also shoots at you. So in a sense of way, it reveals your location plus the ammo that you have to use to kill him, plus the other players hunting you. So I understand the quirk that who do you choose to kill, the enemy team or the warden? Um, and another thing that it's going to transition to what I want to talk about is proximity voice chatter. For a lot of players, it seemed that it didn't work so much when they were in the gulag with their partner, but it worked more so for against and in favor of hunting the enemy team. So, on that sense, it's pretty nice, but it's also like a risk. It's a very risk reward thing that I understand the part of it, but it's just going to, how to put it, most of the teams that we have right now for Warzone have a certain dynamic, have a certain chatter and everything. And if you have proximity chatter, uh, it's gonna be a very hard time for you to actually, you know, uh, it's gonna take a lot of time of adaptability. I understand that it's a good thing, but in a sense of way, it's also a bad thing. So it adds to that risk reward factor. It's just I think I'm not sure how to feel it until I experience it a little bit more, and I think a lot of COD streamers want to experience it a little bit more in order for them to actually know how to adjust and everything. Because yes, you can adjust it, you know, by having a party on your platform or opening Discord and through Discord and just mute everybody on chatter. That's good, but also another thing is that if you mute all on and they're chatting over there, it's like, do I risk it? Do I not risk it? What do I do? That sense. I don't know. I mean, we saw a certain build. I don't think it was beta. I don't think it was alpha. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe something in between of this new Warzone. A lot of questionable stuff. I understand what they were trying to do, what they're trying to do. Some of them is good, some of it is bad, way bad. You know, the store and all that. Um, I don't know. There's some things that I would point out that unless they tell us how, like completely want Warzone 2, instead of just small hints and bits of what they have or what we saw with COD Next event, we don't know how primarily it's going to work. They have an idea. They showed us a little bit, but that little bit has a lot more questions than good reception because it's one, it's not the build. Two, we don't know what they're trying. Like we know what they're trying to do, but it's like, is this the path, or is just this for the event, or what's it going to be fully? We need actual, what's the finished version going to look like? What you're trying to do, and I think with that we can actually give a better constructive criticism, or more so like our opinion of how we would change some of the stuff in order for it to have a better experience. Until we see the full build, or they tell us how the full build is going to be, we don't know how. We don't know how to give feedback back. That's the point. So, yeah, um, but it looks very promising. That's for sure. It looks way better. I'm glad that we get a new map. Not only we get a new map, we get a new sense of strategy. We get a new sense of refreshness. Everything looks natural. Everything looks to have way better mobility than. That's one of the things that I'm gonna chunk to the very good stuff is that I saw streamers traverse the map without issues, without the climbing issues yet. Yes, in the sense of way there were some parts, but it's more so because they were trying to steep, or the build didn't allow them yet in certain parts. But I think they're going to take note on it. But it all feels natural. It all feels good. It's like they took the lessons from Verdansk. They took the harsh lessons from Caldera and other maps like Rebirth and Fortunes. They meshed that up together and they came up with this. And it all seems pretty good. It all seems to flow as it should, as for one time Verdansk's flow, if you recall that. So, on that sense, I applaud you, Infinity Ward, on that one. So, first weekend of the beta is gone. Since I'm on Xbox, I'm waiting for this Thursday to actually download the. That's a good reminder. I need to buy the. Already got my check, so I need to buy the Vault Edition today in order for me to actually have something. Uh, because I'm not going to level up. I want that Cinder. So, on that regard, we are going to wait for the second one in order for me to actually have hands down and tell you my experience through it. In the meantime, stay safe. Literally stay safe because, here in Mexico, it seems like September, especially this day, September 19th, every year it just earthquake. So, in that sense, canon. It's canon that in September earthquakes happen in Mexico, general in the country. Um, so yeah, that's no longer a myth. Um, so in that sense, literally stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and as always, big trust.